Welcome everyone to the DAZN Soccer Show. We're just months away now from Qatar 2022, and we're going to be bringing you some really big interviews, some superstars, some big names. And I don't think they get much bigger than the man we're about to speak to right now. He's done wonders for Canadian football, both men and women, in the last 10 years. And he will take Canada to their first World Cup in 36 years. That man is John Herdman, and he joins us now. John, look, firstly, congratulations. I think a round of applause is deserved. I know they're probably building you a statue in Canada right now, but also thank you so much for giving us some time today.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be on. It feels just feels so long ago that moment happened, and the clock's just ticking towards Qatar as well. That feels like that's coming too quick. So either way, I'm stuck in a bit of a time warp, I think.
No, and you should be, right? I mean, what a success, honestly. Crazy. I want to go back a few years though, because a lot of people won't know about your backstory. They'll see you now in your success now and won't understand how you've got to where you've got to. How does a guy from where you are in County Durham in England make his way to New Zealand, to Canada, and then to Canadians men's national team?
Just passion for the game. I mean, that's what's drove us all this time. I mean, back growing up, you knew very quickly you weren't going to make it at the top level, and coaching was the fallback for I think everyone that wasn't going to be a player. Or they get into the media and they sit and ask questions. But either way, I mean, for me, that was my pathway, and it was an opportunity I took to head out to New Zealand, and from there everything just flourished. Managed to experience international football, World Cups, Olympics with the women's team there, and that ended up opening the door to Canada. And to be honest, since being in Canada, I haven't really looked back. It's just been one great experience after another.
Let's kind of fast forward a few years. 2018, you make the step up to the Canadian men's team. What's the remit? What are you realistically thinking, okay, we can do in 4 years? Are you really thinking we can qualify for the World Cup?
Yeah, I mean, the decision to come to the men's side had multiple motivations. I mean, I'd been on the other side of the fence with the women's program that had been uber successful, and couldn't understand why our men's team always seemed to fail in the qualification process and not even get into that next round of qualification, which was what they called the hexagonal. That they'd only ever been into the World Cup qualification path once since 1986, which, from a women's coach seeing the women being successful and then seeing how popular the sport is in Canada, it was like, why isn't this happening? But it was directly impacting the women. And what we seen is Canada, we were ranked 4th in the world at the time. And you could see the top 6 nations were all being bolstered by the success of their men's teams. Or the foundation had been laid out of the success of men's teams qualifying for FIFA World Cups and then the strength of their domestic leagues. So for me, it was always that hard question, when are the men going to qualify? Because until there's a bigger chunk of dollars comes through from TV rights, sponsorships. I've been here for 7 years. We've gone back-to-back bronze medals, podiums. It's never been done in over a century. We sold out a stadium in 2 hours, but our envelopes, the dollars annually, weren't changing over a 7-year period. So, yeah, I was motivated. I was motivated to try and make a change that was going to change the game forever. This wasn't I've always wanted to go to a World Cup. The World Cup was almost irrelevant. It was, number one, we got to help the game here. The men's team's got to help the game. But then number two, it was the high performance system was broken in the men's side. So there was then just this desire to go and fix it. And that's been part of my career, whether it was New Zealand or the Canadian women's team. It's building things. It's putting the systems, the mental structures and processes in place, the cultural frameworks. It's about working to build the youth tactical framework, so it flows into the senior team. You know, all of those things excited me and my staff. And I got the chance to bring, you know, the majority of the women's staff with me. So it was, you know, really transplanting a lot of what we did on the women's side to the men's. So when we took the role on, we were very clear.
Your role as manager seems to be a lot different from other national managers where everything's already in place. Football is the number one sport in Brazil, in Argentina, in England, in the Netherlands, and other countries where it's so big. It's not the number one sport in Canada, is it? It's growing, but it will still be ice hockey. Basketball is very popular. MMA with the UFC and Georges St. Pierre back in the day was popular. You've almost had to come and sort of start again, so to speak.
Yeah, I think this team, I mean, Alphonso Davies has been a massive, a massive mover in this space. You know, the team have obviously, we've moved the needle as a team. I think the consistency of this team now is the key. So this can't be a one-off. We'll have the 2026 World Cup because it's automatic qualification. We got 2022 that laid a foundation. 2026 will be where I think we can really go and compete, And then hopefully it's World Cup after World Cup. But the popularity for me, it always comes down to the players. I mean, the players having a generational icon like Alphonso and his ability to connect with people at all levels and his understanding of social media and how all that works. I mean, that's something that, you know, I'm pretty illiterate at. So my influences, a lot of them have came outside of football. You know, the other managers that I've enjoyed, you know, Steve Kerr at the Golden State Warriors. I mean, I just think he's got such a great philosophy, and I love how he goes about his work with players. You know, I think
one-on-one work he does as well, because everyone's different, aren't they, on the Golden State Warriors?
And I think this is what I'm saying. Like I jumped off that football hamster wheel in 2002, like following everything about football. I just felt, you know, it seems to be everyone follows everyone. And as Ian Branford told us as the academy director of Sunderland, as he slapped us across the back of the head, he told us there's nothing new in football, son.
Yes.
And, you know, I think I don't believe that, but I feel like there's just a lot of stuff gets regurgitated. So I think looking outside, I mean, I enjoyed working with the Silver Ferns netball coach in New Zealand. I enjoyed working with Wayne Smith, the All Blacks assistant coach. I spent some time, you know, down at Seattle Seahawks with the Super Bowl winning coach, and just understanding what other sports are doing, because I can pick up every Saturday. I watch football and you see these managers and you listen and you see tactics. It's probably the other stuff that excites us more.